Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for coming back here on Ordinary People TV, where ordinary people's stories matter. Thank you so much for hopping on as far as this Saturday evening or morning or afternoon, no matter where you're watching us from. This is Sean White. I'm coming back to you again, ladies and gentlemen, for another episode here on the Team InspiraShawn Show in which that what we're all about here with Team Inspiration is motivating, encouraging, and inspire the masses. I am your host, Sean White, founder and creator of Team Inspiration. So happy that you guys are back on here once again, and hopefully that you continue to watch us, and follow us, tremendously. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go ahead and continue and left off where we was at last week. I do want to make one side note. I definitely do apologize. Normally it was on Fridays at 1 o'clock. However, due to some things that came about, we wasn't able to actually, do it as of yesterday. So we definitely do apologize for the inconvenience as far as in advance. But ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and continue up on our series as far as with part two, the art of storytelling, why telling your story is important. So last week, I just want to go ahead and just do like a quick little recap for those that might have missed it. If you want to watch the full episode, definitely please tune in to OPTV and you can catch last week's episode. But just do a quick little recap on what we was talking about on why telling your story is important. It was a few things in which that I mentioned. First off, as far as what um, telling your story, who you are. Also, the what aspect, which is very, very important. So, what is storytelling? I went into a little bit more with that. I mentioned it was five different types of storytellers. So, you had those as far as that persuade, inspire, those that launch innovation, so to speak, those that manipulate or force people to do as far as what they want to do, and also those that allow for you to be tapped as far as into your potential. Also went as well into as far as to some elements of a great storyteller, what it entails, what it involves, and those different things. So, like I said, if you want more of that, please tune in as far as to last week's episode. So this week, ladies and gentlemen, I want to go ahead and continue up as far as with part two of this, as far as why telling your story is important in the art of storytelling. And it was a lot. So I definitely didn't want to cheat you guys. That's why I wanted to go ahead and make it a two-part series. So that way we can go more into detail about it. And this is some good information. So if you have anybody on board that you feel can benefit from this, please go ahead and like and share this. Please go ahead and like and share this, or go ahead and tag them right now. Just let them know. And this is something in which that will be very, very helpful. So for those that may be following me or don't know me for the first time, allow me to reintroduce myself, and then we're going to go ahead into this, guys. So again, my name is Sean White. I'm the founder and creator of Team Inspiration. I'm here in Atlanta, Georgia, family. However, I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York, born and raised, straight out of Project 68, the whole bit. Been there for about 26 years. Also spent some time in Miami, Florida as well for a little bit over 13 years. And like I said, I'm here in Atlanta, Georgia. I've been here going on for 4 years now, and I'm engaged to my beautiful fiance, Vicky. Also about myself too, guys, is that by daytime I am a groundskeeper slash maintenance tech assistant on an apartment on property, and also by night I'm an entrepreneur as well as a coach, influencer, consultant, affiliate marketer. So I wear many different hats. Tell you a little bit more about me. Pretty much a jack of all trades, and a little bit of everything: sales, customer service, demolition, construction, you name it. Pretty much did it. I've been in this online space going on for about 5 years now. First 2.5 years, guys. To say it was a struggle was an understatement. Okay, really didn't know what I was doing. Made some money, lost a whole bunch of money, and was really, really frustrated. Really was trying to figure this out, and just didn't know as far as if I had what it takes to cut it. Had to really step back for a little bit, had to really just figure some things out. Life happens. And as of 2019, I rededicated myself not only professionally, but also personal development as well. So I am a witness that if you don't give up on yourself and you really are committed and you're determined and you have that vision on what it possibly can look like, and yet I'm still learning it and I'm still growing, family. So trust me, I haven't made it there yet, but I'm finding my calling, in which that this is something which I love to do. I love to motivate, inspire, and encourage people. I have met some great people along this journey, mentors, coaches, the whole kit and caboodle. So that's enough about me now. Now let's go ahead and jump into this topic because you came on to find out more as far as what the art of storytelling and why telling your story is important, especially in these days and times in which we have going on right now, guys. Telling your story truly, truly matters. Believe me when I tell you, your story does matter. And that's what this platform is all about here at OPTV, because we give ordinary people such as myself, such as you, the ability to tell your story, and it matters. And you can reach out to the masses. So with this, with the art of storytelling part two, I did some research, and I want to give the person the credit and where I got this from. It was from a gentleman that actually did a YouTube video. His name is J.P. Phillips. J.P. Phillips. And he was actually doing a TED Talk that was out there in Stockholm. And he came across some great stuff. And I was like, ooh, you know what? This would be great. So let me go ahead and write this down. So this is some takeaways in which that I got on as far as with the art of storytelling. I want you to know first and foremost, and then guys, also too as a side note, if you want to know why I keep looking down, I have my notes here. So just like I mentioned from last time, I like to have extensive notes. So if I'm looking, down a few times, I want to make sure that I'm catching the key points. Okay, so I just want to set the stage for that. But with telling your story is the most powerful tool in the world. Most powerful tool in the world. Oh, sorry about that. I don't know what happened there, but but just to go ahead and tell you, the reason why it's the most powerful tool in the world is because think about it. Stories are passed down from generation to generation to generation. I mean, even from the beginning of time, from the creation, it's in the Bible, all the way from the Egyptians, all the way down to the Africans, the Jews, um, Arabs, you can go to many different cultures, of course. Storytelling, it has a way as far as with moving us, and it really goes on our emotions. It really allows us to imagine, allows for us to go ahead and visualize certain things. So it gives us a certain perspective by telling stories. And also, I want you to consider this as well, how powerful the art of storytelling is. There's billions, and I mean billions of dollars that's actually invested in the storytelling aspect. Like I mentioned last week, just think about it as far as with movies, with TV shows, for an example, commercials, guys. It's so much money actually invested at. Why? Because of the fact that they realize that storytelling is so important. We as human beings, we love to hear stories and we love to be motivated. We love to be inspired. We love as far as to feel a certain kind of way. So it really plays on our emotions, but we love storytelling. Also, too, and what I just mentioned, by you telling your story, what it's going to do is going to allow for you to connect with the audience on their emotional investment. Like I just mentioned, it would be as far as for if you want for your audience as far as to be passionate, to have that empathy. Let's say, for instance, to really captivate as far as on what you're saying, it's an emotional investment. So by telling your story, you definitely want to go ahead and capture that and really bring that out of folks as well. Because the main emotions that we have as human beings is what? Love, happiness, contentment, sadness. Guys, I can go on and on, but I think you guys pretty much get the point on that. So I'm going to talk about certain hormones, which is actually used to actually, if you do your story correctly, you can actually start activating in the process. So before I go ahead and do that, guys, we're coming up here on a 15-minute break. So what I would just like as far as, just hang tight. Just allow it as far as for our sponsors to go ahead and pay some bills, and I'll be back with you shortly, and we'll go ahead and talk about that game.
And dominate your space.
Leaders, and other influencers in canine sports. All while I share with you a little bit of my dog loving antics. I don't really know what I'm doing, so I'm just gonna If you are new to the sport, here you will meet and get to know different dog breeds. You will learn a lot of dog show lingo, as well as tips from the people that are masters in the sport. And in their crazy world where we show and exhibit our companions we call dogs, I like to share a little humor, one episode at a time, in and out of the show ring. We have new episodes premiering every Tuesday night at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time on Ordinary People TV. So sit back and enjoy the ride.
Hey guys, I'm Sharita.
And I'm Chris.
And we want to invite you guys to join us on Thursdays for a Battle Ready Marriage show. It starts at 8:30 Eastern Time and 7:30 Central. Chris, tell us what it's about.
So on the Battle Ready Marriage, we talk about different things, mainly these three things. So we want to transform relationships, take it to the next level. We want to battle ready marriages. And if you're just starting and you want to go into a relationship, we teach you how to prepare for that relationship and make it one for the ages. Again, my name is Coach Chris.
And I'm Sharita, and we want you to go out and dominate your space.
All right, family. So we are back. We are back. Thank you so much for staying on. I definitely do appreciate that. But yeah, definitely check out those other episodes as well. I'm pretty sure you'll most certainly love it. So we stopped at in which I was talking about as far as there's certain hormones when you're actually telling the story and when you're creating the story that you really want as far as to activate within the person which is listening to you. So I want to go ahead and mention the first one and what it actually excites. So there's one chemical in the brain in which that we all have, which is called dopamine. Dopamine. And what that does, because these are actually very high levels that we have in the brain of dopamine. And what it does, ladies and gentlemen, is that it creates focus, it creates motivation, and also as well, it creates memory. So just to go ahead and give you a general idea on how the way that will work as far as with dopamine, as you just seen as far as what that episode right there, is to go ahead and tell you we also have a show which is called Battle of the Sexes, guys. And this show is so cool. It's actually couples, okay, married couples, and what they do is that they go against each other in friendly spiritual competition, and they debate on several and different type of topics. So it's very cool. And the exciting thing about it is that it's very spirited, but very fun and entertaining as well. The whole concept of it is to really go ahead and get you thinking and really put your marriage or your relationship as far as really in another perspective. So that's something you definitely want to look out for. The Battle of the Sexes, very entertaining, very exciting. Now, what I just did is that with the dopamine, I did exactly on what I just said. I had you focus on the Battle of the Sexes and what it was about. I motivated you because I gave you a little bit of content as far as on what you can expect from it. So now also now it's embedded in your brain and your memory. So what's going to happen every time you see that the battle of the sexes, the battle of the spouses, you're going to come back if you're watching this and like, oh, yeah, I remember Sean was actually talking about that. So I actually created, that high levels of dopamine, which is definitely very awesome. It also too, it can promote suspense. It can be a cliffhanger. So if you want your audience literally, just at the edge of their seats, just wondering like, wow, what's going to happen next? What's going to happen next? What's going to happen next? That's the dopamine that's actually kicking in. And also too, you're going to use that as far as part of your storytelling. So that's one chemical. The second chemical, this is called oxytocin. I hope I'm saying that correctly. Oxytocin. Oxytocin. And what that is, this promotes the beautiful chemicals as far as in your brain. So it promotes as far as generosity. It promotes trust. It promotes bonding. It also promotes empathy. I'm going to go ahead and share a story with you guys, and I'm going to show you how I implement this oxytocin um, chemical. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you a story about a young man that came up to Atlanta several years ago. He pretty much risked everything because he was coming from another city. He had his bags packed. He was excited. He was looking forward as far as for coming and starting a brand new life because where he was at, he was at his wits end. When he got to the Greyhound station, come to find out the person that he thought that seriously involved in, she abandoned him. She deserted him. Left him in the Greyhound station for about 2.5 days. Mind you, the only thing he had was the clothes that was on his back, also with the bags and the money that he got from his last two paychecks. Think about this, guys. It's in the Greyhound station, another city. Doesn't know a soul in Atlanta. And yet he just knew through all the emotions, through everything which is going on, through betrayal, being upset, being disappointed, confused, hurt, embarrassed, ashamed, humiliated, not knowing as far as on what was going to happen. Still, he knew that there was something inside him. Whether you want to say the universe, whether you want to say God, it's God, whether you want to say God, whatever you want to say, but something just really just kept him together and just started opening doors for him and brought and started placing him in the right directions. And Lord behold, as he was going through it, as he was homeless and going through the shelter system, there were men and women that was there to help him out, give him a job, help him set up as far as to get his place. And now from that experience, years later, he's actually in a good situation. So what I just did, ladies and gentlemen, by sharing that story, I hit on a couple key things. I hit on as far as the trust, because now you have a better understanding of who that person was. You bonded with that person because maybe you know someone, or maybe yourself have actually went through that situation and you know the hurt and pain that comes from it. So you empathize with that person because you know how it's like as far as to be abandoned, on how you were manipulated, how you were told one thing and something else happened, how you was just left for dead, stranded. So that's what I did. I used that as far as that oxytocin. I think I'm saying it wrong. Forgive me. I think I'm saying it wrong. But I use that because what I wanted to do, I wanted to paint a beautiful picture for you, if that makes sense. The third and last one, ladies and gentlemen, is called the endorphin. Endorphin. And what that is, that's actually the laughter chemical as far as in our brain. So what that when you're telling a great story, what you want to do is that you want to have people calm and you want to have people very relaxed. You want for people to feel like, okay, you know what? I'm listening to the story. I'm hearing this individual, and now I feel so calm. I feel so relaxed because I'm getting to know a little bit more about this person, a little bit more as far as what they were, how they think, how they act, what exactly that they went through, and now I get a great understanding of who I'm speaking with. So when you use those three chemicals, and by the way, this all takes practice, by the way. You're not going to get this overnight. Trust me, I definitely don't. But with practice and with repetition, as you're telling your story. And by the way, it doesn't matter as far as if you're using this to rank advance as far as your company. Doesn't matter if you're using this as far as to if you're getting a promotion. Doesn't matter if you're using this to sell a product or a brand or a service. This skill here, the art of storytelling, can transcend into anything. Wherever you want to tell a story as far as to your kids, anything. If you can get this down and really know your story and learn these different techniques and how the way your hormones work and how with human psychology the hormones work, it will be so much better. It's so much easier for you. So here's some fundamentals, ladies and gentlemen. I want you to write this down. I want you to write this down. This is some fundamentals of when you're doing your story. The first one is going to be write your story. Write your story. So many people that I speak to, and yet they say, "Well, Sean, I don't know my story. I don't know. I've been through so much, man. I just don't know my story." I tell them, write down your story. Write it down because only you can tell your story. Only you had the capacity and the ability to really bring it out. I can take bits and pieces of it. Um, Anybody can take bits and pieces of it, but only you can tell your story. So please write it down. The second point is I want you to go ahead and index your story. I want you to go ahead and customize it. I want you to go ahead and shape it, customize it to where it fits you and your personality. And the third thing, of course, is that anyone can tell their story with proper guidance and by using these particular strategies, from which I used from last week up until this one, you can become an effective storyteller. So all of us, we all have a story, and why telling your story is very important because of the fact it's a piece of you. It's a part of your legacy. It's a part of what makes you you. And people need to hear you. If your story is not about homelessness and struggle, then don't talk about it. Talk about as far as on what makes you you. All of us at some point had some type of adversity or something which that we had to go through in order to overcome it. Use that. Talk about that because I'm pretty certain with the 6 or 10 billion people that here on this planet right now, I'm pretty sure it's a handful of people that can relate to you and understand as far as on what you have going on and what you're currently about and how you're able to overcome that. So they need to hear that. So don't ever look at yourself as far as being small. Definitely don't do that. Now, we also do is some other things as far as, there is another way that there's a certain kind of endorphin, I'm sorry, a certain kind of chemical that you can use, which is really called the devil's own cocktail. And I'm going to tell you why in a second. And that's actually cor- um, cortisone, I believe it is, or yeah, cortisone. I think I'm saying that correctly. Cortisone, and that's basically it's more like when you have that type of chemical. That's the reason why when you're angry, it's not good, or you're upset, or you're sad, because what happens is that you start becoming tolerant to a lot of things. You become very moody, angry, and you have a tendency to make bad decisions. Why? Because your cortisone level is so high and it's off balance. So that's the reason why, so some people that may have a quick temper or some people may be moody or mad or angry all the time. It's because their cortisone level is so high versus it being down and versus like the dopamine, which you want to be high. You always want to have the dopamine level super high. Also, along with the ones in which that I mentioned. Now, there's several others as well, and I'm not going to get into all of them because it's a ton. But those are the main three I really want you to go ahead and focus on. So now that you know, guys, moving forward, when you are ready to tell your story and when you use these fundamentals in which that I have given to you, which by the way, this is absolutely powerful. I sincerely hope and pray that this helps you out very, very much. So, guys, it looks like, wow, it looks like I'm over 30 minutes here. So, it looks like I'm about to go ahead and wrap it up. So I do want to say in closing, guys, Ordinary People TV, keep on watching. We have a lot of great content, a lot of great people that has a lot of great series and shows, and you can feel free as far as to catch any one of us. I'm going to make it my business. Oh, cool! I got 3 minutes left. Okay, so I'm gonna make this count then. Yay! So tune in. Tune in to Ordinary People TV. This is something that is extraordinary. Once again, where ordinary people stories do matter. So if you have a story, if you have a passion, if you have a vision, something that needs to come out, now is definitely the time. Especially in these days of times of what we have going on in the world, your story, your voice needs to be heard more now than ever. More now than ever. So please, don't play small. Don't play small. If you would like to, as far as to subscribe, by all means, definitely go ahead and do so. Please go to our website, ordinarypeople.tv. Once again, it's ordinarypeople.tv. If you are interested, as far as we're doing a segment, either for like a half an hour or an hour show, by all means, get in contact as far as with the producers, and they'll be more than happy to sit down and have a conversation with you and see as far as if there will be a mutual fit. For those that would like to know more as far as on what I'm currently doing, if you're on Facebook, you can definitely follow me on Facebook, Sean White, Team InspiraShawn, here in Atlanta, Georgia. Also, you can follow me as far as on Instagram at Mr. underscore politic 35. Also, as well, let's see here, YouTube, Sean White, Periscope, Mr. Politic 3838. But mostly you can find me as far as on Facebook. That's pretty much, the platform which I currently use, and that's where, I just love reaching out and helping people. So guys, I'm here. We are definitely here. So in closing, I'm about to go here. So I'm gonna end this video like
that matter. If you want to hear more of these stories, go over to ordinarypeople.tv /join today.